What's up everyone, and welcome to another Hate Watchers breakdown and review for The Lord of the Tides, which is episode 8 of House of the Dragon. Without further ado, let's jump right into the breakdown. Spoilers ahead. We open up in Driftmark, where Princess Rhaenys is being informed that her husband Corlys is on the verge of death after being wounded during fighting in the Stepstones, and we've jumped ahead 6 years from the last episode. This is the last major time jump of the season, so these new actors will finally have some job security. Daemon and Rhaenys quarrel over who would get this crappy old lawn chair in the event of Corlys' death. Moving to Dragonstone, Daemon digs into a steaming pile of crap and pulls out a dragon's egg. He informs the dragon handlers that Syrax has laid 3 new dragon's eggs. We have to be on alert anytime we hear there's 3 eggs, as they could be those that become petrified and are passed down to Daenerys. Rhaenyra comes downstairs and helps Jacaerys with his homework. Daemon tells Rhaenyra she's getting fat like in the books, and they sail for King's Landing where no one bothers to greet them. Lord Beesbury bores everyone talking about,
"Back in my day, common whores only cost a nickel."
We check in on King Viserys, who's truly living his best life. Rhaenyra and Daemon introduce their new kids, Aegon and Viserys, who are looking quite Targaryen. King Biden makes the kids uncomfortable and they start crying, before Daemon smells the tea the king is being given. Prince Aegon went a little Harvey Weinstein on one of the maids, and the queen pays her off before giving her some sketchy tea. Angry, Queen Alicent wakes up her son Aegon, and she tries to slap the blonde off of him. Then she meets with Rhaenyra and Daemon because they have an appointment to trade passive-aggressive insults, and Rhaenyra claims the king is being addled by milk of the poppy. Aemond is a full-blown serial killer now. Vaemond arrives just to fuck everything up. Rhaenys, Rhaena, and Rhaenyra, say that 3 times fast, meet in the garden where all the shady deals go down. Rhaenyra offers up a confusing offer of marriage if Rhaenys will back her son's claim to Driftmark, and it's so confusing at this point it's just gonna be easier to have a dragon war to figure it all out. Rhaenys warns of the coming move by the Hightowers. Rhaenyra visits Viserys at night asking about a song of ice and fire. She then asks him to defend her and her children's claim if he wants her to do what she must. King Biden asks for dinner at breakfast time.
"It is the morning, Your Grace."
The king is suffering, and Otto tries to shove more milk of the poppy down his throat. In the throne room, Otto stands in for the king to hold auditions for the Lord of the Tides position that may be opening up soon. We get a nice family photo of Queen Alicent and the band of freaks she calls children, as Vaemond makes his claim. Rhaenyra starts her claim when King Viserys drags his shambling corpse into the throne room. And it's actually a sweet entrance for the king, complete with a golden Phantom of the Opera mask, and Viserys won't be denied his authority.
"I will sit the throne today."
The king's crown falls off and everyone sees he's bald, before Daemon helps him up the stairs. King Biden is confused.
"I must admit my confusion
As to why these petitions are being heard over a settled matter. Rhaenys steps up and says Corlys wanted Cool Hand Luke to ascend their throne and accepts the earlier marriage proposal between the children. Vaemond is pissed and claims Luke isn't a Velaryon before the king snaps back, calling Vaemond a second son. Daemon dares Vaemond to call him a cracker.
"Say it."
But Vaemond has something else to say.
"Her children are bastards! And she is a whore."
Viserys won't have it, and Daemon tries his hand at being a barber. It doesn't go well. Rhaenys looks on as Vaemond's body is being prepared to return to Driftmark. She's warned it's bad luck to look upon the face of death, but she says it's okay because it's only half a face now. The king is carried in to dinner on a chair because the Red Keep isn't up to code on its wheelchair ramps. Aegon is egging on Jacaerys. The king takes off his Phantom of the Opera mask, and it looks like the White Walker prophecy is coming true faster than expected. He makes one last plea for everyone to get along.
The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided."
Rhaenyra performs a toast for Alicent, and the civil war is yet again cancelled. The kids take advantage of the emotional moment to sneak some alcohol. Alicent's daughter takes the opportunity at this family dinner to publicly complain about her marriage to her brother and their lackluster sex life. Viserys is pleased everything seems to have improved, and he feels like he will live forever. Aemond stirs the pot and a fight breaks out. Daemon loves the chaos, and you can be certain that these two are gonna square off at some point. Viserys is confused and tells part of a song of ice and fire to Alicent, who mistakes it as relating to her son Aegon. The king spills one final tear before passing on, and the episode comes to a close. And with that, we've reached the point in the video where we have to decide if this episode was a great watch or a hate watch. I felt this episode was a great watch after a string of mediocre episodes, even though it was yet another installment that only exists to set the stage for future events. The most obvious and important thing here to point out is the absolutely incredible job Paddy Considine has done portraying King Viserys this season. George Red River Martin said before the season aired that Considine had brought a quote tragic majesty to the character, and that couldn't have been a better description. He made Viserys one of the most sympathetic characters I've seen in a long time. Every week you couldn't help but feel sorry for the king and everything that was happening to him within his family. Before the season, Viserys was billed as wanting nothing more than for his family to come together and live peaceably, and that message was hammered home forcefully in this episode. Considine's acting chops were put to the test here in portraying King Viserys mustering every last drop of strength he had to stave off his death, and he absolutely nailed it. Bravo. This episode also did a good job of rounding out everyone's claim to power. This gave Alicent something of a foundation for believing her son is entitled to the throne beyond simply her and her father's ambition for it. She now believes her late husband's dying wish was for their son Aegon to fulfill a Targaryen prophecy by ascending to the throne. Now, that's an insane thought to anyone who's ever met the little prick, but Alicent isn't going to argue. In opposition to this idea, however, is that when he was lucid, the king publicly and repeatedly backed Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. The final pieces of the puzzle that were added in this episode gives us a complete picture of everyone's motivations, claims, and allegiances as we're now ready to turn this Cold War hot after the king kicked the bucket. The book's presentation of the Dance of the Dragons was meant to be ambiguous. There isn't supposed to be an obvious good or bad side between the Greens and Blacks, and I think the king's final words to Alicent may help us view the Greens as more than just simply ambitious. Thank you to everyone who made it this far into the video. Let us know in the comments below. Did this episode improve your view of Team Green's claim to the throne? Do you think Considine's portrayal of King Viserys is as great as we think it is? Also, please remember to like the video as it helps our video reach more fans of the show, and subscribe if you'd like more weekly episode reviews on this show as well as other current shows and movies. Thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next one.